you were part of one of the biggest moments in Nitro history, which at the time we didn't know was going to be one of the biggest memories in Nitro history. It's you, it's Bill Goldberg, September 22nd, literally 4 days from today. The anniversary is coming up.
Wow.
You and Goldberg in 1997. I can't imagine anybody had any idea. But when you're given the task of going, here, get this guy over, and you go out there and you do it, looking back, and it was brought up by Goldberg later on in WCW as well in one of the promos, that moment stands out and will probably be replayed forever. How does that make you feel?
Really pretty cool. For a number of reasons, like, and I don't want to sound here's the funny thing, I'll say it like this. I don't want to sound like too much of a baby face, because then people go, wait a minute, the internet's wrong. But I was going to be on TV again. I was going to wrestle. I wasn't just going to sit in the back and hopefully have my number picked. So then to listen to the things that Sullivan said about me afterwards in interviews and stuff, and how I was the right guy for the job. No one knew. Anybody who says, and I'll stand by this statement, anybody who says they knew that night Bill Goldberg was going to become the biggest thing in wrestling is a liar. They were trying to figure out what to do with this athletic big guy who had the it fact. When you looked at him, you knew he was somebody, right? The airport test. You knew when you walked through, he's got to do something. He plays football, he lifts weights, he's some kind of athlete. He's got this thing about him. Well, fast forward, we have this match. The match hopefully went the way everybody wanted it to go, or whatever. I think when Bill kicked out of No Laughing Matter, I think that was an uh-oh moment. Maybe we are watching something here.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody realized what it was going to turn into. And I've said it for the past 30 whatever years or whatever it's been. And like, Bill's great, man. I got along with Bill famously. I didn't look at it, you do an interview and somebody go, whoa, how did it feel to be the jobber? And first of all, I don't know what that means. That term upsets me to no end, because we're all doing our job, but I think that's a terrible. I'm like, you call me a jobber against Goldberg? I'm in wrestling history.
You were one of like 225 people who lost to him. I think you're okay.
And then here's my joke. I was number 1. I was number 17. I was number 18. I was number, and that's the funny part, because it didn't matter. Right. I was number 1, and it goes into the history books. No, I didn't do it for like, I hope I make the history books with this. I thought the coolest thing ever is when Bill wrote his book, chapter 4 or 5. It's on my bookshelf. Bill signed me the book, but the chapter is Hugh's next. And that's what Bill talks about. So to me, it's those things that make me feel really good about it. And the fact that I get to see Bill when and if we cross paths or in the same room, just give him a big hug and, say, thanks, man, because everybody says, I helped launch him. He made me famous.
Yeah.
Bill Goldberg made me famous.
Speaking of famous and infamous, and again, once you drop a super chat, we're going to put you right up on the screen. AOTV Productions has another great question. Bret Hart has mentioned that he has no intention of forgiving Goldberg for what happened in 2000. Man. Where do you stand on that?
I can only give my opinion on that. It's so many things in life. So many things happen to us. Like Derek, I would like to think that everybody who's part of your podcast and who subscribes and everything doesn't think that's all Derek does is sit in front of a microphone. Right? Does that make sense? So I'd like to think that people don't just think that that's what Bill set out to do. I know Bill's apologized. I know Bret talks about it a lot. I know everybody in the wrestling community has an opinion on this. I think it sucked that someone got hurt. I think it sucked that things weren't going the way they should have for Bret. But I would say this as someone and Bret knows this from his health issues and things and family issues. There's so many things that happen in our lives that are so much more important. Some things just got to be, I'm not saying forget, but I'm a big forgive. And I know it's tough. And some people go, well, it's easy to say because you weren't affected by it. I've had 21 plus concussions.
Yeah.
I've been hurt. I've been this. And sometimes the first thing you always go to, especially, and Bret's old school, legendary old school wrestling. So when you got hurt, and it goes back to our earlier conversations, can I trust this guy? Can I do this? Can I do that? Bret's new in the company. Bret's supposed to be the next big thing because he's already a legend. Everything's cut short. I don't think things went the way they were supposed to for Bret when he joined WCW. But again, that's for Bret to navigate. But I would say that's a lot of energy and a lot of negativity. And if you can, I think it took a long time for him and Shawn Michaels to come to terms, right, on that whole. And everybody has their opinions on that as well. But I think, Bret, you're still with us. We're still all upright and vertical. And of all the things he's done in his career, I personally don't want this to be the thing that people remember. Well, he hated Goldberg. Now, Bret Hart's done too much for wrestling and offers us too much. And I think if Bill's good in doing what he's doing and Bret's good in doing what he's doing, I personally think this could be left alone. Like, we don't have to keep revisiting this because I don't know. I'm not contrary to popular opinion. I'm not a negative cat, and I just don't like to see legends bashing each other because we got these young cats who feel like they can do it because that's what wrestling is, but we go down a whole different rabbit hole. But listen, they're both alive. They're both in health. You know what I mean? They're both doing well. And
they're about to headline a convention together.
Yeah, I just wish there was a different conversation to it. I understand never forgetting it, but man, thank God everybody's still here and doing their thing.
I have a group chat with some various people in wrestling. Well, I'll tell you off air, but we are absolutely convinced it's a work.
I didn't want to say that, but it almost has to be.
Feels like it, right? It's
one of the longest storylines in wrestling history it's drawing more money now and interest than it did when it happened. So
yes. And there's also this mutual joke that Cody Rhodes continues to say on his podcast that he still thinks Bret and Shawn was a work. So I'm good with just giving all the work energy to everything that everybody thinks is a work.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, in professional wrestling, a lot of times what you see on TV happens by circumstance. It's not every aspect of what we do in this business is scripted. So just like Hugh cutting his promo and laughing, and all of a sudden he becomes the laughing man. Those things happen by circumstance. And there are always a ton of people, and I love it. I love the people that are involved in professional wrestling and the fans, because we're able to do things like this and have these conversations because of it. Point A to point B doesn't always happen on purpose. And sometimes point C comes out of an accident or a mistake. Yeah. And to me, I'm just going to keep going with the conspiracy that at some point, Bret and Goldberg are going to do it one more time. And they're going to have a big match somewhere in some way, shape, or form. Or Bret's going to be in the corner. Goldberg's going to be in the corner. And then we're all going to be like, oh, it all makes sense now. So I'm here.
And then I'm here for that. Mad. They'll be mad because they got caught. And they fell into it. I mean, they could be the main event in Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania. We don't know.
Exactly.